Okay, welcome back to Sentinels and Bosses. Before I begin, I just want to describe the setup I have right now. I currently do not have anything to properly hold up my phone. So right now what I have set up is one of those like lamps that can hold its shape. And my phone's bouncing on top of the flat lamp part or the light part. And then I have a jar of peanut butter and a can of these chocolate sticks, keeping it held up. So this is the most jank setup I've ever seen. Hopefully it'll work. Also hand reveal. Behold. So yeah, today this is a opening of Sentinels and Bosses on the case. Okay, so this is a starter deck, which means, and that's what's included. Sentinels Bosses. Then below you see a little guy back down there. So there is many repeat cards in here because it is obviously a deck meant to allow somebody new to start playing. But now it's time to reveal what's in here. We got the booklet. Okay. And there's two starter decks. I'll do the other one next time. But let's start from the start. This is Turtle Airman. This is the first card. You get 3 copies of them. Then there is Fine Fin. You get 3 copies of him. Act like you didn't see that. I was gonna save that for last, but oh well, happens. Here's Sway. Get 3 copies of him as well. Gonna go through everything you get 3 copies of, then 2 copies of, then 1 copy of in this deck. This is Bub. You get 3 copies of him. As you can tell, most of the commons you'll get only like 1 copy of. Get 3 Slamties. Okay, now we're on to the things that you get 2 copies of. First thing, Random Giant Potato. Get 2 copies of Ram Giant Potato. Countered. Get 2 copies of Countered. Stop sliding, you Random Giant Potato. Okay. Get 2 copies of a Tasty Fish Bait. 2 copies of Turtle Earl Man Panic. 2 copies of Turtle Earl Man Calm. 2 copies of Officer Sway. 2 copies of Discovered Treasure. 2 copies of Double Attack, because, you know, Double Attack, 2. 2 copies of Name Change. Very crucial to this deck. 2 copies of Eggton the Jellyfish. 2 copies of Remembrance of the Dead. Okay, balanced. No, stop it. Stop. 2 copies of Meanfin. Then you'll get 2 complete copies of the Combined Guard, Toonish Take and Toonish Punish. Okay. Set that off to the side. Okay, now on to the cards that you only get 1 copy of. First one is Detective Turtle Earlman. Very crucial. 1 complete copy of Cragwin, Body and Tentacles. 1 copy of Old Jonah. 1 copy of Erigen. 1 copy of Flyer's Gift. 1 copy of Chunky Warhammer. 1 copy of Doomfin. 1 copy of Investigation. And now these, the rest of these, are the exclusive cards to the starter sets. I will specify which ones are exclusive to this starter set and the one that is exclusive to the other, or is shared between them. Okay. First things first, classic Deerstalker. You only get 1 copy of this, but it's one of the very few items that actually gives your creatures health. So can be useful in tough situations. Also, I'll show why it's a deer stalking in a second. Flown, flying clone, if you're wondering. You can just change its name. It's great for 2 higher abilities because you just got to sacrifice it for that. It's great for that. Works beautifully. In testing, a great card. So those, then these, you get 2 copies of Turtle Earlman Pice. This, you can sacrifice this to get this. It's supposed to look like a very strange submarine with like squid tentacles added, but also a turtle. I think I got the absurdness of it pretty well. Okay. Then Turtle Earlman Dwed. My favorite artwork. It's a version of Panic that has a blimp. I love him. One of my favorites. Okay, so those plus the boss, which I'll show last, are the cards that are exclusive to this starter deck alone. Okay, and then finally you have the ones that is shared between the 2 starter decks, which is Hired for Investigation and Dirt Town. Dirt Town simple, bosses can't attack. Fired for Investigation, also simple. Very, very good card. Has been very fun to play with. Like it. Okay, let's show off the boss finally. Detective Duo. So Detective Duo, just really good for whenever you 2 higher, you get an additional benefit, and you can destroy your opponent's hand as well. Very solid. And then whenever he flips, Duo in flight. Once per turn, you may make 1 grounded guard become airborne until the end of turn. This is great against things like, what is it? Gig Clue, there we go. Sorry, bad with names. Gig Clue. Because, you know, especially in early Sentinels and bosses, because Gig Clue is one of the earliest legendaries. Gig Clue was a nightmare, but this makes it slightly easier to deal with, especially because the other deck has a copy of Gig Clue. And then when you activate a 2 higher ability, kill a random card in your opponent's hand. So allows you to just straight up kill a card instead of you having to reveal a card, which that revealing thing also goes well against it. Makes the other boss in the other starter deck, you have to be careful with which you want to reveal, because that requires you to reveal cards. So you have to be careful when using that, because this guy, if he gets lucky and gets the same card, well, that card's dead. So very fun little interaction there. Ugh. It fell. Okay, the Jenks setup has failed. But don't worry, it's near the end anyways. Alright. Nope. Come on. There we go. You stay there, okay? So yeah. That is all the cards which come in the starter deck. So yeah. About the story, it's just Detective Duo. This is the story for Sentinels and Bosses. I think I'm gonna do that in a different video where I go over the story explanation. But just so you know, Officer Sway and Detective Turtle Earlman, wherever he is, work together. So yeah, that's it for this video, I believe. Yeah, see you. Hello, welcome back to Sentinels and Bosses. So quickly before we get started, you also get a copy. Just letting you know, you get a copy of the booklet in here for the rules. Let you know how to play, since this is a starter deck. But also, I'm gonna just quickly go over something I forgot in the last video. You get this extra little bonus lore card. Doesn't say much about the lore, but it does give a little tidbit. I'll make a separate video probably at some point going through the lore and what happened in set 1 and the story. Okay, now let's get into what you're waiting for. Starter deck, something, you got something. There you go. All 4 power. Sentinels and bosses, a little goofy guy under there, starter deck. All right. Also, if you couldn't tell by the name, this entire deck strategy is focused around making one really strong creature to bully down your opponent. Has very nice, works very nice with the 2 higher on the case deck. So since the boss you can get in normal set 1, I'm just gonna quickly go over the boss. Mayor Slimeworth, front, back, you gotta reveal cards to draw cards and stuff like that. Very, very standard set 1 boss. You can get that in the main set 1, you don't have to get this starter deck. Okay, Fly Yo-Yo, get 3 copies. Mask of Ted, you get 3 more copies. Elder Slamty, you get 3 copies. Yeah, show it off. Just, there we go. So you can see in the corner. Burger, get 3 copies as well. Slamty, him and his 2 little heads. You get 2, so you get 6 heads. Blobturt, inspired off of a blobfish, if you couldn't tell. Oh, you. Uh-oh. A little issue there. Did I accidentally grab a... Yes, I did. You get 2 copies of Paper Clan, which means you only get 2 copies of Blobtart. My apologies. You get 2 copies of the Sigil of 0 Point. Get 2 copies of the Ritual of 0 Point's Shield. Get 2 copies of Ritual of 0 Point Spear. You get 2 copies of my favorite card, Lucky Number 7. Absolutely love that card. Beautiful. You get 2 copies of Tricrete. 2 copies of Flap the Face. Stab it. Stab. 2 copies of Lecom. 2 copies of Double Attack. 2 copies of Buried Treasure. You also get 2 copies of Countered. A lot of those cards that I just went through, I think 4 2s you also get in the other one. So, yep. You get a complete copy of Dubek Left and Right Head. I believe you get 2 copies. Yes, you do. You get 2 copies. Left and Right Head. Let me just lay that out for you so you can see the full artwork. You get 1 copy of Scorpipede, Stinging Head, and Stinging Head, and then Crunchy Head. There you go. Little centipede. You get 1 copy of Bean Toss, my apologies. 1 copy of Existence Control Ritual. If you can tell, there's a lot of that symbol and rituals going on with this guy. Lore. Normal, quote unquote, normal book. Burn the Skies. Or Burn the Sky. Gig Clue. Ooh. Absolute nightmare in early testing. Pentacrete, very strong card, which with Mask of Ted allows you to put the Sigil of 0 Point on him. Then he becomes an absolute nightmare and probably will win you the game. Stop it. Stop. 1 copy of Ritual of the Point Bow. There. Very good card. On to the exclusives. You've already seen these if you watched the other episode, but here's the copy that you get in this starter deck. They go great in both. Okay, on to the exclusives for this deck. You get a fancy hat, which is pretty much like the deer clop, or was it deer something? Forgot. But it's his hat, and it gives you power instead of intelligence. You get a gift from the messenger, and if you read that, it says 2 slime worth from a friend. You can see his little slime all over it, and you can even see that's the same desk right there, sort of. Got some black candle as well. Ooh, spooky. You get young Slimeworth. It's just Slimeworth when he was a little child, so long ago. 0 point ritual. Very, very strong card. Able to cause your opponent to have to kill their strongest card very easily because it increases danger level amongst everyone. But then the other part is very good as well. Then Marionettis, just a way to fetch for your 0 point sigils. Sigils of 0 point. There we go. All right, now time for this deck's lore card. There it is. Just a little, sigil of 0 point for you. And that's all. Thank you for watching. I will be probably doing a lore video and maybe this deck versus the other deck soon. From playing, it seems pretty 50-50, which is perfect. Because that is obviously what you want your starter decks to be. A 50-50 odds of each winning. So yeah, that is all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you.